to introduce for our gold sponsor address, Joe Greco, Director of Planning and Trade Development with Ports America Chesapeake. Joe.
Good morning. Thank you, Earl. So on behalf of Bart Hogans, our General Manager and Vice President of Ports America Chesapeake, I would also like to welcome all of you to the Green Ports Conference. We are pleased to support the first Green Port Congress in the United States. As you've heard from Lieutenant Governor Rutherford, Secretary Grumbles, and Deputy Secretary Lewis, we're excited to welcome all of you to the Port of Baltimore, one of America's most historic and most vibrant ports. I hope you have some time to walk along our waterfront and maybe take a water taxi ride to Fort McHenry, where the battle took place that inspired Francis Scott Key to write the Star-Spangled Banner. What you won't realize is if you visit Baltimore's Inner Harbor, that much of the port was located a block east of this convention center not too long ago. A few weeks ago, the Baltimore Sun published an old picture showing hundreds of Volkswagen Beetles and vans being discharged from a ship right here in downtown Baltimore, just a few blocks away from where we are on Pratt Street. The Bethlehem Steel Dry Dock and Repair Yard was located just down Key Highway until the 1980s. The waterfront apartment tower going up around the corner sits on the site of McCormick Spice Factory, which brought in spices by ship from around the world until it was knocked down 30 years ago. Allied Signal operated a chromium plant just up the harbor here until 1985, and today the Domino Sugar Refinery is about the last industrial or port use left in Baltimore's Inner Harbor. So you may be wondering why I'm taking you on this trip down memory lane. Most of the properties I mentioned are now developed with apartments and offices and hotels. The history is important as we consider our future. There are many reasons that, other than the Maryland Port Administration office and the World Trade Center and Barry's office, that remaining port activity in downtown Baltimore is limited. Cost, limited real estate, transportation access, just to name a few reasons why. But undoubtedly, the fact that our industry, historically, has not focused on environmental impacts played a role in moving our port and others across the country away from the population centers. Large metropolitan areas like Baltimore, Washington, New York, Los Angeles, there's simply no more room for ports to relocate to again. We will continue to grow, but we'll also have to coexist with our neighbors. To make this happen, we need to be serious about protecting our environment. As you've heard from leaders of our state, Maryland is very focused on the environment now. We treasure the Chesapeake Bay as central to our quality of life and also as an economic engine for our region. This is why Ports America Chesapeake is proud to help bring together leaders from across our industry to share best Green Port practices. Here in Baltimore and across the country, our company works closely with partners in government. As Secretary Grumble said, partnership is a big part of this, and as we've heard from Lieutenant Governor, and we work with the Governor and the Maryland Port Administration as well as our legislature, they're all big supporters of our port and the partnership that we need to make it work. We're very proud that through our work together in Maryland, Inbound Logistics magazine named the Port of Baltimore one of the 10 greenest ports in America. We still have work to do to make our facility as green as it can be, but I'd like to share a bit of what we've been up to. Ports America Chesapeake entered into a 50-year public-private partnership with the Maryland Port Administration to operate Seagirt Marine Terminal in 2010, 20 years after Seagirt opened for business as an exclusive container facility. We also operate a 50-acre facility at the Dundalk Marine Terminal, with stevedoring centered around rolling stock and break bulk cargoes. At Dundalk, we partner with Wilhelmsen Wallenius Logistics, a world leader in global logistics of rolling stock that shares our commitment to environmental stewardship. The Port of Baltimore is responsible for almost 14,000 direct jobs and over 100,000 total jobs. And we feel a responsibility to continue to drive growth at the port. Our agreement requires us to make significant upgrades to the facility, and we're ahead of schedule. Since we entered our partnership in 2010, container volumes have grown by more than 73%. We're the fourth largest growing port in North America, and our access to I-85, I-83, I-70, as well as access to both CSX and Norfolk Southern railroads, enables us to serve the third largest combined metro area by GDP in the United States, only behind New York and Los Angeles. With respect to today's subject, what we've learned is that good environmental practices are good for business. In fact, in the case of REI, it was a decisive factor in its decision to ship through Seager. We're driven to be the most productive, most efficient port in America, and we're constantly making investments to maintain that edge. We want our customers' trucks and containers to spend less time in our terminal than anywhere else. Speed equals profits, and when trucks don't have to wait in line, they produce fewer emissions. I'd like to take a minute to share a few of our efficiency and environmental initiatives, and I look forward to hearing from all of you about your ports and companies and how you're making progress in this area. In 2016, we added radio frequency identification tags, or RFID tags, for over-the-road trucks to improve gate process time and reduce idling at our gates. Also that year, we added additional inbound and outbound lanes, increasing output capacity by 17% and reducing the need for queuing. Last year, we installed a Wi-Fi network over our entire property, enhancing operational visibility, and we have 21 Tier 4 engines in operations in yard hustlers, top loaders, empty handlers, forklifts, and 6 new Kalmar rubber tire gantry cranes. Emissions from 25 Tier 4 engines are equivalent to just 1 Tier 1 machine. Very large impact. And we installed optical character recognition technology at our gates to identify container and chassis images, decreasing manual input and increasing velocity. All images are available through the internet to the entire supply chain. But we recognize that being efficient and environmentally conscious is an ongoing process. This year, we're adding weigh and motion scales, an empty and chassis depot, upgrading our terminal operating system, and investing $15 million on Tier 4 compliant container handling equipment. Our location on the water places a special burden on our industry to be good environmental stewards. We all recognize that past performance in our industry may have raised questions and concerns in the mind of elected leaders and ordinary citizens, but I am very optimistic that our business and environmental objectives are now aligned. Operating a green port today is no longer unusual. It's standard practice that could only be good for our business and our future growth. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy the conference and our city.